Alrighty, this is our training video on Wave accounting. We're going to talk a little bit more about it here in a second, but first I just want to kind of go over what Wave accounting is. The purpose of Wave accounting is it's a software program that takes every transaction that's happening in your bank and then it allows you to categorize it. Essentially, this becomes your books. Your bookkeeping, the purpose of bookkeeping is to categorize every inflow and every outflow from your company into specific categories. So if we want to see, last month, how much did we spend on materials, we can see that based on what happened in our bank account because we've categorized every dollar that went out for materials was categorized as such, and the software will allow us to see what that is. So anyway, it's basically a big categorization tool for your bank account. So let's start to show you how to do that. Oh, just so you know, this will, when you know exactly every dollar that came in and every dollar that went out and it's categorized, that is known as your income statement. It will show every dollar that came into your business, how much money did we collect versus how much money left us that we spent, and then whatever's, the difference between those is your profits. So by categorizing everything going in and out of your bank, you then have a good idea of exactly what's happening. This is how you reconcile your bank account. So the goal in Wave is to have every transaction categorized. Okay? So let's just talk about your normal categorization. So when you log into Wave, it looks like this. And over on the side, there's this little thing that says transactions. This is where you go. You open up your transactions, and it will basically just list every transaction from your bank account in order, just like you get them every time there's a new transaction in your bank account, it pops up in here. Now, you can sort by different categories and from certain date ranges. If I just wanted to see the stuff that came in on the 17th, I could put in here April, starting on the 17th and then ending on the 17th. This creates a filter that just shows the transactions that happened on those dates. So I'll get rid of those filters so then it shows everything again. Okay, and then here within the system, what I'm doing is I'm going to go through and I'm going to categorize everything. Some things may automatically categorize, but that may not be correct. This, for instance, was not sales from the service company. Okay, this was an outflow of $5,000. So what we're going to do here, let's just take one of them. Let's say that this, here's Ira Hansen & Sons payroll. Let's say it was paid to our administrator. Well, in here there's a category under expenses, and it'd be administrative payroll. And I just click on that, and then I'm done. And then I go to the next one. This is a transaction fee from Intuit Payments Solutions, and I would categorize that one as bank and merchant fees. Okay. Now, if you're not sure what something is, you leave it as uncategorized. You don't have to categorize everything if you don't know what it is. You only categorize the things that you know, and then at the end of the month, you meet with management, and then we will discuss any of the uncategorized transactions and try and figure out what is the best way for us to categorize them. Okay? So that's normal categorization and what to do if you're not sure. The other thing I want to talk about is splitting transactions. One thing that'll happen in Wave is as you're trying to categorize everything, you might come upon something like, let's say this Builders Association payment, whatever this is, that went out of our account. It actually was to pay them for two things. Let's say it was to pay them for parts and materials, but it also helped cover licensing and permits. We paid for both of those in this one bill. Or a more common, actually I'm going to do something a little bit different. Let's say that somebody made a deposit into our bank account for $4,466, but it was like for three different things. They were paying us for sales, and it was also something else. What we would do is we could go in here, and you can click on Split Transaction, and then, like let's say that this was multiple checks. So this one would be check 1, 2, 3, 4 for Bob's new water heater. Okay, and that one was for $2,000. Okay, And then there was another check that was sent. It was check 3, 4, 5 for John's new sprinklers. Okay? Now, there's another $24.66. Okay, so what we're doing here is if I split this transaction, it will actually, because when you deposit a bunch of stuff at the bank, they don't break everything out. Okay, they just lump it all together and say deposit. You, though, on your books, you want to break everything out. So you would, in this case, I went in and I made this big deposit for $4,466. If I split the transaction, that allows me on the books to split them each individually. And I could categorize each one of them individually as well, which is what you want to do. You want to break apart your transactions as they come in, okay? So that it's as detailed as possible, okay? So this is what you're doing. You're just going through and you're just categorizing everything that's coming into your system, and that's pretty much it. So we'll go over this in more detail, but this is kind of the rough overview. Again, the objective is to just categorize as much as you can, but if you're not sure, leave it as uncategorized until you discuss it with management and we're sure that you have placed things in the right category. Okay? If you have any other questions, let me know.